What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. And once again, we're here on 910 Sports TV. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity because without him, there'll be no us. Next, I want to introduce my right-hand man, Timmy, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Coach himself. He be all over the world, man. I don't even know, man. I'm jealous. But you know what I'm saying? We got Coach Goins in the building. What's going on, brother?
Well, listen, man, I'm glad to be on another Saturday night in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Glad that you got your proper tie on tonight. You got your jersey and you get ready to drop 30. But listen, it gives us great honor and the privilege to have a very special guest on tonight. Near and dear friend of mine. You know, I tell you what, man, I seen this young man from a young man to a grown man now, right? And heading up a fantastic program. So let me just read the bio to for our viewing audience. So he's affectionately known as Coach P to his players. He is the head coach of Furman University women's basketball program. And he's been, and it's hard to believe, he's been there for over a decade. And he came in as assistant coach and he was promoted to associate head coach. And since he's been there, he has the all-time, listen, tell you this, Iconic. Coach P has the best record on the road in the history of Furman women's basketball program since the inception. So again, tremendous job. Before he headed down to Furman, he was a high school basketball coach here in Virginia, and he was emerging as a leader in that profession. And he also started JMU. So let me give you a quick little plug there with my cup, man. All right, that's the last time you're gonna see that. All right, so in that at JMU, he scored over 1,200 points, and in that he had a career, he had a professional career in Germany. But most importantly, the thing that really stood out, man, I didn't realize you were that good, man. You know, you led them in threes, minutes played, and all that good stuff. So listen, we want to welcome none other than Coach Pierre Curtis to 910 Sports TV.
Man, I appreciate you for having me on, man. It's my first podcast, so I was LG. He kind of hit me up before, and I wasn't ready to do anything, but this time I had to come on to see my guy, and definitely nice to meet you as well.
Oh, okay,
Excellent, man.
appreciate it.
Excellent,
Appreciate it
excellent,
too.
excellent. Yeah, man. So yeah, so Eddie, Pierre and I used to work together back in the day when he was a young man. I mean, this dude, when I say green, he was fresh out of college, man. He come up in there in that distribution world, and I never forget. I knew he had the passion for the game, and I remember I was in my office, and he come busting over there, man. He said, "Man, I just got a job opportunity." I said, Look here, man." I said, "You got the role. You got to go up front and have that game." And we had the same boss. I said, "You got to go up there and put the cards on the table. That's a once in a lifetime. You're a young man. You need to roll, man. And listen, I'm so proud of you. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kick it over to Icon E because he got his jersey on tonight, and I know he's ready to drop 30. And I know he got a question for you.
Yeah, because
What you got?
you ain't gonna catch me slipping like last week we had Donald Williams on. Y'all got on me because I have a Carolina jersey. I didn't get a Carolina jersey, but I did get a Caleb Wilson jersey, so that's still gonna represent. You know what I'm saying? And I got my LeBron jersey on the way to that Philly joint. Got that one on the way too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But anyway, I still shaking his head. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Coach, glad to have you on here, Coach Curtis, Coach P. So let me ask you something because uh, Coach Goins says something really that piqued my curiosity when when he said that basically you got the winningest road record in Furman history with the women's basketball team. So what goes into that as far as the mindset and the preparation to be able to have that type of record when it comes to that?
Yeah, man. Well, so 2 years ago we were getting a new gym, so they were renovating Timmons Arena, and so we had to play pretty much most of our games on the road, and even when they were home games, we were playing at a Division II school down the street, so we didn't have home games at all that year, and we just kind of developed the mentality of trying to just make every gym ours. So fast forward to this past year, I had a bunch of kids that, some young kids that were still on the team that remembered never playing, at home. So we just always wanted to make whatever gym we were in our own gym. And I think sometimes it's a little bit easier on the road to come together as a team. You don't have you got to stay in the hotel. You're not in your own dorm. You don't have people in your head. So you can go into another gym and all you got is each other. And we got a thing where we just say this to us. So we go into those gyms and we kind of, we're just a family, and we just want to take care of business. And we had some close ones, but they kind of performed beyond their years, and we pulled out some of those on the road. So I didn't even realize that until it happened. But I guess it was a good thing that we can go in and win on the road as well.
So when it comes to recruiting, we in the NIL transfer era and all that. What's the challenges for yourself? Because being that Furman is not considered one of the big dog type of schools, what I mean, the blue chip schools or whatever. So what's the challenges for you when it comes to being able to recruit with probably limited amount of money that the big dogs have?
Yeah, I think you just got to adapt to your environment. I think some people are trying to fight it, and we're just, for me, it's just understanding the world we're in. And, just first and foremost, we try to recruit kids that value what we have. And if it's not the money, it's going to be the academics at Furman, the ability to play immediately, just a winning culture, and just enjoying a little bit of the best of both worlds where it comes to the academic side and then the basketball. Because it's a business, but I try to run my program as a family and not just be so transactional. Um, but also understanding that it's going to come a time if your kids are too good and somebody's offering them $100,000 to come play. You got to be a realist and understand that they're not going to get that here. So you got to understand that as well, and just keep trying to build through the high school ranks for us because our academics are so high. As far as transfers go, we're not big players in the transfer portal. Um, so I just try to recruit the best high school players possible that fit and want what we have, and not trying to go outside of that too much.
Okay, before I kick it back over to Coach, let me ask you this question. Because me and Coach, we big Tar Heel fans. And so the last couple of years, they literally turned over the whole team. Like maybe like one or two players came out, but they had a fresh 13, to go with the two. So how frustrating is that as a coach? Because back in the day, before not even really back in the day, but a few years ago, before transfer and all that, at NIL, your juniors and seniors would come back, and especially at a school like Furman, where you get your players all 4 years, maybe in a fifth year, just because they may not be as talented or whatever when it goes to go jump into the NBA or whatever the case may be, or the WNBA and all that kind of stuff. So how frustrating is almost every year having to start over? You know what I mean? Or how have you really dealt with that?
I bet it is frustrating for some people. Like I haven't. Some coaches enjoy that. They enjoy the having to build a new team, like being a GM of the team every year. I haven't personally had that problem. My group, I have a group of juniors that most of them were with me since they were freshmen. So I haven't had to rebuild a whole team. I did have to go get three one year, and it's a little bit different for me. I go after kids that maybe I recruited before, so there's already a relationship there. But I'm not big on just going in and plucking people that I have no clue who they are or what their background is, because for me it's hard to. You got to make sure you have the right kids that are going to buy into what you want to do, and the biggest thing is winning. And some in this environment, this world right now, sometimes winning is not the most important thing for everybody. It's the bag. So just trying to dive a little bit into that and make sure we're bringing in the right kids as well as the right players.
Go ahead, Coach.
All right, man. So listen, I, iconic Coach Pete. He's the only man I know from Denver besides Coach Prime, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in that, right, I know he's played in Chicago. He's lived in Denver, and he had a heck of a prep year. I mean, prep his whole prep work was just tremendous. Reading down through his bio and some of the stuff I didn't cover. Then, Coach P, here's my question: as you transition, you got into college and you were playing. how much do you see in yourself? Do you look for that in your players that you recruit? I know there may be, I know that, different, males and females, but how much do you see in yourself when you look at a play and you go, man, they can play?
I think as most coaches won't admit it, but we do look for ourselves in players. And, especially for me in point guards, like I look at point guards that maybe played the way I played, but a little they do it in a different way, right? Or just their ability to do maybe what I did or more than I did. So you do look into that, but um, outside of that, I understand that the way I went about playing basketball is a little bit different. Then they're going to want to do that. My mentality of wanting to be a pro, everyone doesn't want to be a pro. Um,
Mm,
every women's basketball player does not want to play pro. They want to be doctors. They want to go and be professionals in other fields. So understanding that you're going to have them and they're going to want to be as good as they can be to win games now, but their overall goal or in life is not to go play pro. So whereas every guy thinks we're going to the NBA, like overseas, whatever, we think is just that's what we're going to do, and that's not true. But I think just having been at different places, like I didn't coach at JMU, but because I was around that culture, and then I come here, I was able to learn from some pretty heavy hitters as an assistant. That just trying to put together a team has been a little bit easier for me, and just seeing what works. But I don't outside of point guards, I don't look into maybe even how we played or how I played in my players because it's a totally different game.
all right. So here's what I kind of, I don't know if you know this, Coach P. I mean, when I say he recruits, I mean he go gets them, right. So going down through that, and correct me if I'm right, he's had like 19 consensus like players, that's on the first team in the conference. So where's that I come from? Come on, Pete, tell me, man. How do you walk in that gym and you look and you go, okay, I want her. I'm gonna go after her, and then once you get him there, and you put him in that laboratory. I mean, it's speaking for itself because I mean it's printed. It's in the history books that you're recruiting and you're turning this talent into great college players.
Yeah, I think as an assistant, the thing was just knowing what my head coach wanted. Like, right? Because I told somebody this the other day. My first tournament I went to recruit at. Well, I'll tell you this. Because I was around JMU, I got to like Kenny Brooks and Jackie Carson.
Mm,
They put me around like so many good players, even when they were doing their elite camps. So I worked it, and it was always, hey Pete, go talk to that kid, or go talk to that player. And that was my first like job I wasn't even working at camp really. That was just my job to go talk to the players. And I think Kenny knew before I did that I could do this, right?
mm.
Um, and then as I got here, it was just learning what Jackie Carson wanted and what fit her system, and we were able to put some really good pieces around into how we wanted to play. And then when I became the head coach, it's like, okay, how do I want to play? And kind of flipping a little bit of how we recruited just to fit my type of player and my system. But the biggest thing is everybody goes after these highly ranked kids, and that's great, but how can I get a kid that fits exactly what we want to do? Because they're going to perform better in our system than just going to get a kid that is talented but doesn't fit anything we want to do. Unless you're going to change your whole system to fit them, and not many people are going to do that, right? But then the work, the biggest thing is you get them here and you got to make them better because we're not getting finished products. So we live in the gym. You hope to find kids that just really want to get better, so they're gonna drag you to the gym instead of you dragging them. But I learned to my assistants. My post coach is tremendous. I've had some really good other assistant coaches that really want to develop the kids, and then it's my job. I don't think I'm like this huge guru or whatever, but what I do know how to do is put players in the right positions to get buckets and be successful. And so that's kind of it's a mix of all of that.
Excellent, excellent. All right, Connie, man, I see you got your sneakers laced up tight for that three, man. So I'm gonna kick it over there to you.
Yeah. So, Coach, let me ask you this. So, your experience, what part of Germany were you in when you played overseas?
Yeah, I was at a place called Jena. It was in East Germany. Um,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I've been to Ramstein before when I was in the military. You know what I mean? It was real nice. We had a ball over there for them 3 weeks because we went like in the middle of a festival. So, you know what I mean? So we ain't doing no party every night. We got off work. So,
I
you
mean,
know
there
what I
were
mean?
places where you could do that for sure. I think we played them. That was one of the countries that we played. But yeah, it was East Germany was different, man. It was 16 years ago. Like it was a little bit different for sure. The
Now I
best.
will say this before I ask you this question. We went to this McDonald's every day, almost like I'm like couple, almost seem like I'm almost every day was at this McDonald's, and I ain't never seen a McDonald's so clean in my life. I don't care what time of day we went there in the morning, in the 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. This McDonald's you could eat off the floor. I was like, what in the world? But anyway, coach. But anyway, coach. So basically, what did you learn over there as far as like playing overseas that you brought back to coaching style or just being able to understand players and systems and stuff that you brought back over to what you do now?
Yeah, man, Germany was such a blur, man. What I do remember is I just for me it was the way they ran and practice, the way practice was structured. Um, and then that was the first time where it was a business. Like basketball was a true it was a business. So and kind of just how to I mean be a CEO of a program a little bit, but also just how they structure practice. It was a lot of fundamentals and just breakdowns, and they were. I mean, when I tell you it was 3 hours, 2 times a day, it was nasty work, and I mean every day. So I guess I would take from that's what I learned over there, but I actually learned way more working alongside coach than at that in that distribution center than I would say that I learned in my time overseas. That was just how that there was a business for sure.
Now, let me ask you a question because I was asking Coach Goins this before we came on, and I don't know if you know the history of James Madison, but I want to actually say that y'all upset the Tar Heels like the '98 tournament or somewhere, and then that's what kind of put James Madison on the map. I
Yeah,
don't know if you remember that history,
I
the
have not.
history lesson.
Probably been like Lefty Drizel's time, or you got to think I'm from Denver, so I didn't even know who JMU was until 2000. Like I didn't know anything about JMU, the Carolinas. Like I didn't know anything about any of that until I would say December of 2005 is when I
Yeah,
figured out who they were. So yeah, and times are different. You couldn't get on it. You wasn't getting on the internet on your phone or nothing like that. You had to really go
yeah.
get the dial up to quickly. You
Now, did
know,
you ever meet Lefty? Did you ever actually ever meet Lefty?
I ca- I don't think I did. I think I met the coach that went to Cal. He was the coach before that. I don't think I ever met Lefty though.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I was just in Denver maybe about a week or two ago. I was just in Denver. So yeah, it's a pretty state. I like Denver. I just couldn't live there because of the weather in the wintertime. But as far as just the people and the atmosphere and everything, it's a really cool city.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean, or whatever. But go ahead, Coach. Yeah, Coach Goins, you can jump back in. Oh
All
yeah,
right,
and that
man.
was our co-host that because if he listening right now, I'm starting to call it like I told you, I'm starting to call him AD Street Clothes if he don't come back soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta give him a shout. I seen he sent us a word, man. So much love to none other than Jacob the Great. Oh, and I will say this before I jump in the next question. Condolences to North Carolina State. Their former player Cozell McQueen, who was on the '83 championship, passed this past week unexpectedly. So condolences to the McQueen family. And I know he was from Bennettsville, South Carolina. Remember him quite well when he was in Raleigh. So hey, let's get back at the man at the hour at hand. Listen, I saw a post the other day, and your daughter is not a kid anymore. How old is Sydney now?
Yeah, so she's 17. So
What?
Yeah, and that was what I think she was 3 when I left and started coaching. When I left Virginia and started coaching. So yeah, man, she's a senior in high school. Like she, she already ran my life, but she really does run my life now. And that was a big reason why I came back to Virginia instead of continuing to play overseas. Was just I wanted to be around my daughter. I wanted to be a dad. I didn't want to be overseas missing at that part. That was the beginning of her time. She I didn't want to miss those stages of our life. So that was she's grown and she's she's running my life for sure.
Well, that's great, man. I saw. I think it was a birthday shout out. And it well, I was just like, I said, "Are you kidding me?" And then I had to stop and look. I was like, "Man," I said, "She's that old. That means I'm getting older as well." So, all right, hey, here's my question, man. So, looking at this year's team, as you guys are, starting to get back in the gym, and I know you're on a tight schedule and with the NCAA regulations. So, what are you excited about going into this upcoming season?
Yeah, I'm excited. We're just some veterans now, right? I think we won 18 games last year with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores that really they didn't know what they didn't know, right? I think the 3 sophomores that had played here for me as freshmen last year, they were sophomores. They had played the most out of everybody on our team, and then I had a junior transfer that had played a ton. So I literally was winning with kids who just wanted a chance. They were trying to prove themselves, and I was trying to prove myself as a head coach, right? Just that I could do this, right, and be successful at it. And so last year was us trying to prove ourselves just to be that we can do it. And now this year with a bunch of veterans and kids that are like hungry for that next step. I'm just excited about just being able to compete for a championship and kind of go from there. I think we kind of caught some people by surprise last year competing, and I don't think we're going to catch anybody by surprise this year. With I have both 2 all-conference kids returning, um, and then I have a bunch of other veterans that are just ready to play. So I'm excited about just the growth of the group, and then just competing, man, day in and day out.
All right. So here, that's a good synopsis of the team. Now, I want to get in your head. What do you do? Walk us through. It's game day. Do walk us through your game day. Right. You get to the office. You do what we. It's 3 hours before the game. Take us from the 3 hour mark till they tip.
Yeah. So, man, like game days, like home game days, I'm like 3 hours. So 4 hours before we have like shoot around. So no, if we eat 4 hours before. So before that, we have shoot around, and our shoot around is really just a shoot around. Now, I've been a part of some shoot arounds where those things is like practices, and and mine is not like that. I mean, we shoot, and then we literally walk through like things, like whether it's our defensive, what we're doing on defensive end, we like walk through it. Um, and there's a couple things that I might go over just offensively, because I do most of my work with the offensive stuff the day before, 2 days before the game. So then the day before I kind of tighten it up, and then the day of is just walking through maybe a sideline out of bounds play, or just hey, let's try this when we run this play. Like very very small details, but when we the day of the game, our work is we've already done our work. Like we're just really fine tuning it and just walking through. For me, when I leave, I go home. You know me, LG. I'm like I'm relaxing, man. I go take a shower. I might iron my half zip and my Lululemon pants, man. I'm getting my outfit together, and then I'm taking my mind off basketball. Like I don't. 3 hours before, just finishing eating, and I'm taking my mind off basketball because I overthink things entirely too much, and if I don't separate, I will probably overthink too much, and I'll be complicating things more than they need to be because there's always something else you might want to do or you could do, and if I haven't thought about it at that point, I'm taking myself out of it, right? So, um, I usually don't get to the gym until 30 minutes before. Uh I mean there's probably I say 35 minutes before is when I actually get to the gym. I live 5 minutes away from the school, so
I understand. All right.
yeah. So I get there 35 minutes before. I talk to the team 30 minutes before, and then they go back out on the floor, and then I kind of look over my play card. I ain't gonna. I'll show you an old one. I mean, the early like a play card. This is my play card.
Oh man, it's in color too.
Yeah, I still somebody does this for me. I don't do it all the way. There's a play card. I kind of just double check that just to make sure that hey, I got these 2 or 3 plays, like that I know we can go to. But I'm detaching until it's game time, and then I'm there. So I don't really do all this extra stuff. And on the road, we get there 90 minutes before the game. I am bored out of my mind. Like I have nothing to do.
So that's what. So what time you come? What time you walk out of the locker room?
Before the to come on the floor, probably
Yeah.
3 minutes on the clock.
3 minutes. Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
2. Like, and I'm going. I say hi to the other coach, and we have our little talk, and then I'm ready to go. I don't really like to. It's so much idle time, and it's good to like rest your mind a little bit before you go into a game, and so that you're clear. I try to get a little nap in, um, and kind of go from there. So not too crazy on game days.
Okay. All right. All right, Iconi.
Well, Jacob asked, how has being a coach helped you discipline you in your personal life, basically?
Uh, yeah, I don't. I think if anything, it's helped me to just like understand that to there's more than basketball. Like, right? I think it's understanding that basketball is my life, but it's not always everyone's life. So, getting to do different things that maybe I would never do, right? I think as far as the discipline goes, like I'm pretty much like I just go with the flow of everything. Like I'm disciplined in like how I go about my game planning. Um and well I'm really not the most I wouldn't say I'm the most crazy disciplined person out there, man. Like I like to eat what I like to eat. I probably know I shouldn't, but I like to. Um but I think more as a player, I had to do certain things to be good, and that's helped me be disciplined as a coach. But um, I'm gonna always be on time, like no matter what, right? I think I learned that if I like I can't. It used to be like your parents would tell you that um, don't do what I do, do what I say. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that does not work with these kids. You know what I'm saying? That does not work. They are very much like they're gonna follow your lead in what you do. So I used to I used to be a couple minutes late, and I couldn't. I had to stop being like, oh well, it doesn't start till I get there, right? And it's like no, they're watching. They're like, oh, Coach P was 2 minutes late. We could be 2 minutes late, So
Mm-hmm.
that was something that I had to really really learn with that first year. Is that okay? I have to be boom 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 just because if I expect them to be that way.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think coaching has just helped me see life in a different point of view, right? Not just I wouldn't say it's made me the most disciplined person, but it's made me value and just understand life in a different way.
Yeah, let me ask you this question. So because I seen Josh Smith, they used to play for the Hawks. I think it was him that said, like, they like you said early in the day, you would have you shoot around way before practice. He like by the time they would get to shoot around doing that, 10-minute stretch or whatever time before the game, he said he might take 2 shots and go sit down. He's like, hey, he said, I already did all that shoot around this morning. I don't got to come out here and do it again. So you being a shooter when you play, a scorer and a shooter, how when you out there and you shooting around right like 10 minutes before the game, and if you hot or cold, does it really make a difference when the game start? Like if you came out, you making everything doing shoot around, but then the game start and you missing, or vice versa. you missing, but all of a sudden the lights come on, and you making everything. So how important really is that little 10-minute stretch?
I think it's a confidence thing, right? So I don't think it really. If you're focused and locked in, like making or missing is gonna happen. Like so, I never really put too much clout into that, like in too much thought into that. Like now, Josh Smith, that's they're pros. That's a different level. And for him, he was really more of a slasher and all that. So he take his 2 shots because he ain't gonna be taking that many threes like that, man, or jump shots. But for my players, I do think that gets into their head a little bit if they're making shots and warm-ups or not. I'm not typically out there 10 minutes before. I think they're shooting free throws and stuff like that before. So I think I try to instill just like they just got to trust their work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like if you put in the work, like it's gonna pay off if you're putting in intentional work, right? Some people go out there and get up a bunch of shots, but it's not intentional. It's not the games that it's not the shots they're gonna really like be taken in a game, so they get out there and they can't make shots, and it's like, well, you didn't do that in your workouts or in practice. But my players, I think, like make or miss, I just try to instill in them to get to the next shot because I know they're working, and they got to trust that. So the mentality part is what I always say, and they'll always say, Coach P will tell you trust your work, make or miss. Like I don't even care, trust your work, shoot the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So in the time that you've been there, what's been your biggest opponent as far as one of the other major schools?
Yeah, I would say it's changed a little bit. I think when I was a assistant coach, we had a lot of battles early with Chattanooga, and then Mercer kind of was the big dog in our league, and then now it, the opponent we have the toughest game with is Chattanooga. It's just how they play, and they've been pretty good in our league. And the Chattanooga coach from 2 years ago is now he's the Clemson head coach. He's going into his third year at Clemson. But again, somebody I worked with at Furman, that again, someone I was able to learn from. He had been in the game for 3, 4, 5 years when I got here. We started together, and I was able to learn from him as well. So I think the funnest game we're gonna play, it's always a battle with ETSU. Like I mean, it's East Tennessee State. I mean, it's always. I think we beat them at their place on a buzzer beater, and then they return the favor at our place and beat us on the buzzer.
Like,
oh, wow.
It's just one of those, like, they're a gritty team, and that's the kind of team I have as well. So it's just gonna be one of those 55-60 slugfest, but it's always fun, right? And then our rival is Wofford because it's 45 minutes away. So that's always one of those where we hadn't beat them at their place since they opened up their new gym, and we always split. And then this past year we were able to sweep them, so that was good too. So it just depends, especially in this landscape. I don't even know who's on the team for these other people in our league because there's the transfer portal has moved so many people around, and so it's kind of different.
It's funny because Jacob just asked what was the biggest challenge on coaching a superstar player. You just said you don't even know who's on the other team.
Well, like he's talking about me coaching one, not coaching against one. So if coaching against one, I try to get the ball out of their hands. Like we gonna, but like for when I'm coaching like one, and I would just say our better players, like understanding that. Obviously letting everybody has roles, right? And just, making sure everyone is aware of those roles early. I have a player on my team. Her name is Alyssa Irvin, right? And I'm like, she can really, really score that basketball. And it's, for me being a point guard, I'm always about making the right play. And if somebody's open, you got to kick it to them. But then as I coach a couple of scorers, I'm like, man, sometimes that right play is them taking that shot and not kicking it to that person. So you have to understand that, and then like also let the team know that, hey, sometimes it's in the best interest because there's always, it could always be a little bit of he lets her do that, and I don't let other players do it, right? And so early on, I told my team, hey, she's going to be able to take some of these shots that other people can't take. Like, and the reason is she makes some of these shots that y'all can't make, right? But I hold her accountable on other parts, right? She gets 2 of them. If she takes more than 2 crazy shots, she got to come sit next to me. If she's not rebounding or playing defense the way I need her to play, well, she's gonna come sit next to me. So like I'm gonna allow you to be you on the offensive end, but you have to be everything else I need you to be on the other side of the basketball and in other facets of the game. And that's kind of how I go about everybody on my team, but especially those kids who are like your star players or your better players. Like they're held to a different standard for sure. And but as far as bucket getters like that, you got to kind of let them be them, and that's what I've learned in general. Like you can't change it, right? You got to let them be them while also, hey, this is what I need you to do for us to be successful. Like, and there's a give and take in all of this.
Yeah, because it's funny because what do they say about Bill Parcells? You hear that saying, and you coach your players all the same, but you don't treat them all the same. So it'll be like basically, I think with Bill Parcells when he was dealing with Lawrence Taylor, and it was like it was a meeting one time they had, there was I guess they were watching film, and one of the lesser players fell asleep, and they cut him like in the middle of the film session, and then they said when they lost Taylor, I guess fell asleep or so. They was like, okay, well, what you want me to do about that? You know what I'm saying? So,
Give them a pillow. Get rid of the pillow and a blanket.
I don't coach them all the same, but I won't coach all the same. But it'll be fair, right? Like coach fair, But like, no, they're not all coached the same. And but if you're my better players, I'm probably getting on. You're getting it the most when I'm on the floor. Like you're probably hearing my mouth a little bit more than other players are because I'm holding you accountable. This is what it is for you.
Yeah, that's how Pop was. Craig Popovich, he like that. He basically like, if I can yell at Tim Duncan, you know what I'm saying, then of course, then if you're the 12 man on the bench, he dang sure gonna yell at you.
Gonna get some.
If I can get away with yelling at Tim Duncan, and he not going back and forth with me, barking at me. But go ahead, Coach Goins.
All right, so here's my last one for you, Coach P. What would you tell the young Pierre Curtis that walked in this building when you did versus who we're talking to tonight? What would be that piece of advice that you'd say, hey man, sit down here and let give me 5 minutes of your time?
I would tell him to just stay the course. I think stay the course and soak up everything you can from this opportunity, right? Because I think I would probably listen and learn a little bit more if I would have went back to that time. I was just trying to work. I didn't know anything, man. I was 24 years old. That was my first real job. I had at that age, I mean, she was probably 1 or 2. I was just trying to provide. I had no clue what I was getting myself into at that distribution center. They gave me the same job as like Coach Goins, and I'm like, he clearly knows more about this than I do. Like, and I'm like, but as I have gotten older, just knowing that I was learning how to manage different personalities, right? I learned that playing, but like in the real world, like that was a different thing for me. And being able to discipline people without it being personal, right? I think I've taken those things, learning from, that job, and I've brought it into coaching. Like I have to discipline people without it being personal. I have people from all over the place on the basketball team. So these different personalities that I'm managing. A team full of women. I was in a department with all women, right? And having to manage that and because it's different. So I don't think I really like understood the education I was getting at that distribution center that would help me in the long run. And I think that's something that I wish I had of like paid more attention to when I was there. I think I was just trying to get paid, and I was just trying to have a job. I wanted to provide for my family, and I was given a job that I'm not really sure how I got, but I did. And but I think you wouldn't notice, but I mean, 18 months of being there, at that point when I got this job, I was in a crossroads of like what I wanted to do in my life. Like I think I wanted to coach, but I was really in between three things, and I was like, okay, if I can't, I was training to go back overseas. Like I was trying to get coaching jobs, right? And it was to a point where I was like, if this doesn't happen right now, I am gonna go full head into this distribution, like logistics. What was I? I was supervisor, area manager, whatever I was at that point. I was gonna just dive right into it, and see what happened and see what that got me. Because I didn't really dive right into it. I learned enough to get by, and not enough to actually like be great at the job, right? And then this happened, and that basically is why I went this path, because I was like, well, I'm just gonna be a high school coach and work at this distribution center to see if I can make it to Minnesota. Like that's kind of how it was. Like, but I definitely would dive more into the education of like the logistics and just the being the CEO of an area, because that's literally what I am right now. I'm the CEO of a program.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Icon, I'll kick it to you, bro.
All right. Before we get out of here, everybody subscribe to 910 SNE on our YouTube page. Check us out on 810 Studios on our Roku channel. We also on the CW22 once a month and Augusta 54 once a month. And we are on United Radio, DJs United Radio every Monday and Friday with both our podcasts. So I got a couple more questions before we let you get out of here. One, Jacob asked, basically, are there any true point guards still in the women's side versus like maybe years ago?
I mean, yes and no, but it just depends on what your like definition of it. A true point guard is like, I think if you're looking at the WNBA, Chelsea Gray is the ultimate like true point guard, right? For the Aces, that is what she is. Like, she'll have 5 points and she could still dominate a basketball game without scoring, and that's kind of what she does. I think um, she's the first one that just comes to mind and being like, if you want to be a true point guard, but everybody has to score now in today's game. It's just what it is. You can't if you can't make a shot, it just makes you playing 4 on 5. It's very very hard to score that way. So I think just the definition of a true point guard is kind of changed a little bit. I think you can still be pass first, but you got to be capable of putting that ball in the basket. But I think there is, and I think Rory Harmon at Texas last year, she was a super true point guard. I mean, made all the right plays, will lock you up. Like, I mean, I so yeah, there are, but I think we want point guards that could get buckets. So it just kind of skewed it. Every coach says I want that, but then when that kid can't make a shot or doesn't even look to take open shots, then you're mad. So what do you
All
really?
our Ben Simmons. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh.
I no comment on that one.
Well, I got one last question. So the legendary coach like a Pat Summitt, Gino, Coach K's, Roy Williams, whatever you want to, all the where you look basketball, football, Nick Saban, whoever. But the one thing the players always say that left them is they were like father figures, or they gave them life lessons, or they did this for them or that for them. So, what do you try to instill in your kids as far as life lessons to be able to say when they call you back and say, Coach, I'm glad you gave me that advice because it helped me in X, Y, and Z in this situation?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because I mean, I always say that like I have 14 players on my team. I have 15 daughters. So I have my 14 on this team, and then I have mine, right? So so for me, coaching women, I always try to have a really good role model on my staff for them too, because I can teach you how to, I can help you become a better person, but I can't teach you how to become a better woman, or because I'm not a woman, right? I think so. The my associate head coach, she's mom to them, and she does a really good job of just instilling some values into them, like as a woman. But for me, I think one thing I always tell them is if you work and it's like intentional work, you're gonna be great in whatever you want to be, and don't let anybody. I try to instill the confidence in them that they could do whatever they want to do, right? Like I think, and to not let one mistake derail like in your mind you being great, right? Like I am not. I don't hide my flaws away from my players. Like I have flaws. I've messed up in life, and I never hide that from them. But what I try to tell them is that like you can bounce back from whatever you do to be great in whatever you want to do. So yeah, you missed that shot. So what? Like you're gonna make the next one. Or all right, you didn't do good on that test. Like why? Okay, you can't do anything about it. Let's move forward. How do we move forward and be great on the next test? So it's just always that next step mentality, and not just basketball but in life, that I try to instill in them. And like they'll never see me rattled, and they be like, "Yo, coach, you just be chilling." And in my mind, I am like, "What is going on?" But like I can't. That's just how I am. I've always been that way, as far as just like I can't do anything about what just happened. How do I fix it going forward? And I try to make sure they're in that part.
That's
Well,
excellent.
Coach, I
Excellent.
appreciate you coming on, giving us your time. I could tell this, but it's funny because you can't tell this your first podcast because you handle yourself very well. Whatever,
Excellent. Excellent.
but I will say this, and I mean this as humble as possible. I appreciate the fact that you gave us an opportunity, to come on because I'm pretty sure you probably gotten other asks from other people to go on their podcast or their show, whatever it is, and you just said that this is the first time you actually accepted it. So I feel very humble and appreciative that you chose us to be your first one to do it on, and I hope we, handle ourselves as professionally as possible in your eyes. And that what I always tell every other coach that come on here, if you have other players, you have your coaches, whoever it is, athletic director, whoever it is that you want to send our way to interview and put a spotlight on
Absolutely.
your kids or whatever, send them our way. And we handle everybody with care and with the utmost professionalism. You know what I mean? When we ain't out here Charlemagne and Wendy Williams and nobody. You know what I'm
Man, I appreciate you for sure. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So good luck in the season. God
Thank you.
bless you. And y'all have a wonderful evening.
All right. Take care, brother. All right, man. Much love.